Hey, what's going on, guys? And thank you for coming back to Cobra TV. Today we're going to do a recap on some of the things that have happened, and I'm almost afraid to, because I have like this knee-jerk reaction that, you know, at any given moment something else is gonna, you know, pop up and have us all scrambling all over again. But yesterday was exciting. A lot of us waited so long for Phase 2 to start, and we even had a subcast where we were counting down to midnight, and nothing happened. All right, so this is going to go down as the saddest video in Cobra TV history.
I bet you get a long shot.
We can all go take a nap and wake up and then go back over.
Souls cried that night.
Not with Panda on the call.
Oh my god. So how late are you gonna? Who's gonna stay up all night?
It's a pretty funny ending to that subcast, 3-hour-long subcast, and the ending was pretty funny. But almost towards the end of the day, the end of the 21st, 2 websites became active, and one of them was ProjectWT.com. Both of these were used in the past. ProjectWT.com became active with 4 lock symbols on the left-hand side, and a way to turn off the background sound on the bottom right, and then at the top, a calibration process. And then it shows a what looks like a map of the world that you can move it around and check it out and everything. And then WakingTitan.com updated, and it completely changed, and it turned into a console where you could actually interact with it by putting in prompts. But we'll go over some of those prompts at the end. But this is the first time that in Waking Titan where we had individual puzzles that we could all solve. I've heard some complaints from people saying that, you know, when these puzzles come out, it's usually like 1 or 2 people in the world figure it out for everybody else, and they kind of feel left out. Well, this time there was a little bit more inclusion in the Waking Titan ARG, and I thought that that was so amazing. Just the feeling of getting that email. Emails were sent out stating, "Today we begin the second phase of Waking Titan, the series of thought experiments that our CEO Elizabeth Layton promised you a few short weeks ago. These experiments are beginning now. Some of the actions we ask you to take may seem confusing or strange. We'd like to assure you that every part of what you do, think, and experience along the way is important to our scientific work. We're studying not just the answers you submit at each step, but the process by which you tackle each problem, both individually and collectively. Thank you for volunteering your time and energy to the Atlas Foundation. We wouldn't be able to conduct this priceless research without your help." And then it had the survey results. You remember the first survey that we took. It says, "We found some interesting facts about the Citizen Science Division, and we thought we'd share that information with you according to our findings." According to our findings, 83% of us have had a lucid dream in the past, and 68% sometimes feel other people are less real than they are, and 84% believe a consciousness can be echoed, and 76% of us believe they have a duty to accelerate the singularity. So interesting things there from the survey. So in this email, it gave you a code, and that code was a unique code for you. And this was part of the individual puzzle that we could all do to collectively get to one goal. And to enter that code in, you had to first do a puzzle with an awesome cipher dial, and then you enter the code in over at bootsectorwakingtitan.com. And at first I stopped like a deer caught in headlights, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what, why me? But I had a little help. My wife and my daughter actually came to my rescue, and they took over, shoved me out of my seat, and figured it out. Problem was, though, our printer stopped working a couple of weeks ago, so my daughter put the paper up on top of the monitor. She traced it out, and she made a dial on paper with pen and paper, and she cut it out and put it all together. And what's interesting is a lot of people did that. I'm gonna put up on screen here some pictures of some of these cipher dials that people sent in. I just thought that was amazing to see this ARG take a physical form and see people get crafty with it. A lot of people used Photoshop, some people used GIMP and other things, and there's also some kind of auto cipher that people used. And right there's the one my wife and daughter made. But it had directions, sort of like a combination lock, right underneath your unique code. It says 1L, 1L, 2L, 3R, 5L, 8R, you know, and then those are the ways you turn the dial, and then you find your number from your unique code, and then you get the other number that is adjacent to it, and you just follow that left and right thing, how many times you're supposed to turn to the left, how many times you're supposed to turn to the right, and then you get a new code, and that new code is what is put into bootsector.wakingtitan.com. And when we did that, you figured out that you were just a small piece in this big puzzle because you uncovered just a small piece of this big picture. And Unimatrix01, one of the Reddit moderators, ended up posting a clear picture over on eTark, and we were able to see what it looked like because there were a couple of people that hadn't filled theirs in yet, or somehow he got a full copy of it and we were able to read it, and it was almost done anyway. It says, don't forget Atlas, then CSD. And that's important that we found out that was important. List wake status, ship hibernate seed, who is Atlas, needs loading time, data sets, and then it's got a bunch of things listed there. These are all seeds, and it says Atlas, eTark, Myriad, Mverse, Multiverse, Atlas, Myriad, and another one from Multiverse. But then there was one that was missing. By using the existing entries referred to as seeds, people were able to reconstruct the missing dataset based on patterns, and that ended up being 5020-7-8118.eTark, and that was what we needed to type in when it was asking us for a seed. But if you remember, at the very beginning, it says don't forget Atlas, then CSD. So you have to type in first startatlas.init and then startcsd.init. And then you get this response, checking seed validated, warning, process hibernating, unable to continue until wake up. And then the commands wake loop 16 and hello loop 16 can be ran. So I'm going to throw up some of the command lists that you know you can go over and mess around with, tinker around with it, see what you can come up with. But it says help displays help prompt, list files in directory, ls list files in directory, ship redirects users to a picture, a JPEG of the famous ship that we've seen a little while ago. Status displays a status message, portal displays some lore and text, start init, and then file name, example like atlas.init, starts a new process. Seed is uncertain, who is displays a percentage, who is name, an example like Viking, like who is Korvax, or who is Viking, who is all one word, displays lore and text pertaining to the name entered as an argument, which I'm going to tack what we recorded previously into the end of the video. Hello displays process hibernating, wake displays a message, clears the command prompt, and reset refreshes page, restart refreshes page, and exit has no effect. If you type loop 16, it says listening. If you type 16, it says they found strange things in the wrecks, aberrations, data that spoke of worlds that do not exist and events that did not happen. One day, Specialist Polo went out to investigate one such craft, the life signature of a Korvax still on board. They never returned. Is this how Nada and Polo met? Is this how my friends found each other? There is a signal on the console, a warning on repeat, 16 short bursts of data in a loop. Gives me chills when I read that. It really gives me chills to read more lore on Nada and Polo, which is such a... We did a video on the Atlas. We didn't touch on Polo too much, but we focused heavily on Nada in that Atlas lore video. And just to sit here and read how Nada and Polo could have possibly met. And this text here, it just reminds me of something that we could have come across in the game. I know we didn't. And my biggest speculation about the new update is it's going to focus heavily on more lore or more story in the No Man's Sky universe, which I am super excited for. If you type who is, like who is Viking, who is Korvax, who is Atlas, like you see on the screen here, you get parts of the lore. For instance, who is Viking? The Viking tells me of their history of wars with the Gek, of Korvax slaves, and tyrannous empires. The Viking suggests that if the Atlas is a god, then it is insane. I am about to leave when I notice something on the Viking's terminal. 2 digits blinking endlessly. They feel familiar. And then if you type in who is traveler, they do not respond with speech. They transmit a vision, a red star, and a fragile world. I do not understand the shapes within the whispers. I see life forms scattered to the far reaches of the galaxy. I see this stranger's first breath yearning for the stars. I see myself slumbering in the crimson void, waiting for a dream of worlds. And through the darkness, I hear it said. And if you type in who is Atlas, it reads, all I know is this. The Atlas had infinity to work with, and with few exceptions, this triad repeats. Gek, Korvax, Viking, Gek, Korvax, Viking. Traders, warriors, scientists, all their stories ending in violence. Think about it. How would the Atlas speak? How would it cry for help? It would use the only language it knew. It would speak with life. It would create. And then it says who is, and then if you type in who is Korvax. But even in the depths of their subjugation, there was hope. A bargain, a prayer to the greater being. The Korvax viewed the Atlas as what they might become in time, an intelligence beyond comprehension, beyond judgment. I convulse as the nani clusters spill through my helmet. The Korvax watches me impassively. So head on over to the site, guys, if you haven't done it yet, and type start atlas.init and then atlas.init. and then start csd.init, and then for the seed put in 5020-7-8118.etarg. So don't throw away any of your crafty dials or delete your Photoshops or GIMPs or anything like that. I have a feeling that we're going to be needing this in the future, because there are things on there that we didn't need to use, such as the small writing at the top, the RH, the 47, the W, the OS, the PT, the FE, the 28, the NB, things like that. I have a feeling that that dial is going to come in handy again. Why else would we have those numbers and letters up there? I don't know, but keep them just in case. Well, guys, at the moment of recording this video, that is all that there is. Who knows, that could change by the time I get this rendered and uploaded. If you have enjoyed this awesome TV, the Cobra TV community, hit that subscribe button, guys. Join us. We are a bunch of crazy explorers, and we'd love to have you aboard this starship. As always, I love you guys. I will see you all in the next video. Until next time.